Hi guys, it's Amy, Gable Stitcher, here with a stitching update video. Today is October 23rd, 2019. I cannot believe it is the third week of October. I feel like when the year starts, like January kind of drags. It takes forever to get through the month of January. And then as the year goes on, like every month just gets faster and faster. And we're at the point now in October where I feel like you blink and the month is over. So it has probably been about 3 weeks since I've been back to film a video. Life has been very busy. I have been stitching a lot. I have done a lot of stitchy fun things to do, which is always good. And I really haven't had time to come back and make a video, which that happens, right? That's life. So I'm glad to be able to come back now and spend some time with you talking about what's been going on and what I've been working on. So 2 weeks ago, I went to the Ellen Chester retreat in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. It was hosted by Stitches Hideaway. And I'm going to do a separate video about that retreat because I have a lot of pictures and I want to talk about the project. And I think it's going to be too long if I put the two together. I think I'm going to end up with two short videos, but I'd rather end up with two short videos than one really long video. Because I think, some people may just want to hear about Ellen Chester and don't really care about what I'm stitching, or vice versa. Some people might not be very interested in the Ellen Chester retreat and project, but are here for what I've been stitching on. If you're not interested in the Ellen Chester retreat, I gotta tell you that you should watch that video though, because Ellen is great. She's amazing. She's an avid Flosstube watcher. And I really enjoyed spending time with her. I wish that we lived closer because I could see us sitting and stitching together and just having a great time. When we met, we felt like we had known each other for a long time. And she's really, really just great. But enough about Ellen here, because like I said, we're going to do a whole video. So I've worked a bit on that project, not enough to show like outside of the Ellen video. I have worked mostly on one project this past 3 weeks. I have done so much traveling for stitching, like meeting up with stitchers, that I needed something pretty easy to stitch on. And then when I was home, I just didn't want to put it down. So I kept going. And that project, stop yapping and show you what it is. That project is Lakeside Needlecraft's Spooky Halloween. This was a sal by Lakeside Needlecrafts of 2017. And it is available for purchase online as a PDF from their website. So I did that. Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world, had sent me a picture of this and asked if I knew who this was that designed this. And I had already been thinking about maybe starting it. And when she sent me the picture and I told her who it was, as soon as I sent it to her, I ended up buying the download, printing it out, and the next day dyeing fabric to start it, because sometimes things just call loudly and you can't ignore them. So I have been working on this quite a bit the past 3 weeks. So I started this not quite a month ago, about 3 weeks ago. And on my last video, I had done just this part over. And since then, I am about 3/4 of the way through it. This is the end of the top. So I have about 1/4 left. There's another tree to frame the other side, but the big stitching as in the buildings are done. And I'm just going to say that I love this. I mean, look at that. How cool is that? It's been perfect for travel stitching. There's only 4 colors in this. I do not enjoy stitching with the light effects thread, which is the yellow and the green. It's polyester, it frays, it's horrible, but I have most of it done. So now I am in total love with this project, and I'm going to be sorry when it ends. This is stitched on a piece of 28 count Monaco that I dyed myself with some Rit dye. This past weekend, a couple of people asked me what color fabric it was, and I called it Pyrex Orange because I dyed it in a bowl in my kitchen. So, but I like the way it came out. So I think I'm going to push through and finish this. I'm actually hoping to finish it this week. I have an FFO idea for it. I wanted to go all the way out to here so I could measure it and buy what I think I need to FFO it. And I'm hoping to have it displayed for the beginning of next week before Halloween. And I might keep it up for the beginning of November because it's just really cool. So, yeah, the only change I've made to the charting is the 9. It was 2017, and I converted the 7 to a 9. I was thinking about writing 2020 up there because it would be less charting, and it's going to be displayed in 2020, but it just fit better to do the 19, so I committed. That's what I have been working on, and I have had like 2 angels on my shoulder. I've had one saying, finish everything, finish all the things you've started. And I've had one that says, you want some new starts. You want to start some things. And I can't decide which angels to listen to, so I've been working on that one. I do think that in the next week or so, I'm going to go through my whips and pull out what I think would be easy finishes for the rest of the year to try to finish some things off before the end of 2019. Kind of have like a finish it November and December to see what I can whip out. I've had a lot of finishes this year. I've had more finishes than starts, but I think I have a few that I could pluck off easily and it would feel really good to do that. Okay, that weird glitch was paused because I started talking about stuff that I realized I didn't pull and bring over. So I paused and went to go get it. So as I was saying, I wanted to thinking about doing a finish it November and December. And one of the things I wanted to think about finishing, I definitely want to finish, this is top priority, is the Satsuma Street 12 Days of Christmas. And this is where I am currently. So I have 4 more blocks to go in the bottom banner. I'm thinking I could finish a block a week in November and then frame it and have it up December 1st. I do already have the frame, the mat cut, the foam board cut. I have it all ready. I just need to finish it and lace it and put it in the frame. So I really would like to finish that. So that is what I think I'll be working on starting November 1st. The other thing that is calling to me that I would like to finish, and I think I'll work on it the rest of October after I finish Spooky Halloween, and then I'm going to try to make it my travel project, is Primitive Hair Spooky Countdown. I'm going to show it quickly. I haven't worked on it since probably May. So if you've watched me any length of time, you've seen it. But if I show it, it's an easy screen grab for next time. So here is where I am. I'm just about halfway through. There's 2 more rows of blocks below the current one, and then a large bottom banner. And this one I'm doing on 32 count MGC textiles that I coffee and tea dyed, basted, and baked using Priscilla and Chelsea's tutorial. So I'm using most of the color for DMCs on this. I did put in a little bit of purple just because I feel like Halloween needs purple, but I would like to work on that for my travel project because I would like to finish that in 2019. Ironically enough, I started this exactly a year ago. I started this in 2018, I think it was October 19th, and I only know because I saw it in my Facebook memories, but it would be nice to finish that this year. So those are two good-sized projects that I think I can finish this year. And like I said, I think I'm going to go through my whips and pull out what I can easily finish it November and December. And I will show them on my next video. So that is my plans, my whips. I have some Stitchy Kindness. I won a giveaway from Shelly Key Stitcher. She was giving away some Misty fabric from Luminous Fiber Arts from Misty Purcell, just so people could try it because she loves Misty fabric. And I had been wanting to try Misty fabric, but I could never get the color or size I wanted on her website. When they went up, they go fast. So I won a piece of 32 count linen. It is in the colorway Whisper. So I'll put some light behind it. It's a very, very pale gray blue. I think that's a little bit better. You can see it. I mean, it's being blown out, but it's very, very pretty. So thank you, Shelly. I can't wait to stitch that. I actually have a couple of Christmas pieces that I think would look really nice on it. I think the white will, it's dark enough where the white's going to stand out. But yeah, it's really pretty. So I'm looking forward to using that. And the other Stitchy Kindness I got is I had sent some floss to Julie, Kansas City girl in Colorado World, that I had dyed in some light effects that she couldn't find. And she sent me back some floss that she dyed. So she sent me these two browns, and they are so pretty. Really pretty. So thank you so much, Julie. I look forward to using these soon. Light's such a funny thing because when I'm holding them up, they look red, and they're really not. They're really just brown. Okay, one more time. So Julie and I have kind of been a little bit on a floss and fabric dyeing kick, and we've been talking and doing a bunch of dyeing. I haven't dyed in the past couple of weeks, but I'm feeling the urge to dye some more floss. There's a lot of colors of the overdyes that's just hard to get right now, like the blacks. And I'm trying to dye some blacks, and it's hard, which is probably why it's hard to buy them. But I'm having fun dyeing some floss and some fabric, so I'm going to continue doing it. Why not? So those are my Stitchy Kindness. Fair results. I had entered the Big E with Phoebe, and I showed that in my last video. I had also entered the Topsfield Fair, which is in Topsfield, Massachusetts. It's north of Boston. And I didn't actually think I was going to be able to go to see the fair just because I was so busy. But I had a little time one morning, and there was a nor'easter coming, and they actually opened the fair free for the morning, and there was free parking. So I said, hey, it's free. I'm going to go. So I did. I mean, I went up. I was at the fair for probably less time than it took me to drive there and back. but I saw my fair items and I got to, see some of the other displays and buy some honey from the local beekeepers for the year, and also, eat some fun fair food and people watch. So this was one of the items. This is Blackbird, and this is Into All a Good Night. This is an old Loose Feathers. I think it's like Loose Feathers, like 15 or something like that. So Blackbird Designs. I did this exactly how it was charted, fabric and all. The only thing I did not do is it called for some queen stitches, and I did not do the queen stitches. I love the way this came out. I framed this myself. I ordered a frame online, and I really like the way it looks and the way it came out. And that received a second place ribbon. And I'm okay with that. I do have to say, when I was reading the comments, there weren't many comments. I'm not sure I'm going to enter Topsfield again. I found the judging very inconsistent. And this is my second year entering Topsfield. And I felt the same way both years. If I was closer, I'd probably do it. But it's a bit of a hike for me, and it's difficult for me to get there to enter the items. On this one, the comments, they wrote that not all my X's were X's. And when I looked at the piece, I had stitched it a while ago. I had forgotten that there were some eyelet stitches on it and Smyrna's. So I don't know if they didn't recognize the specialty stitches, because last year I entered a Just Nan and I got a very similar comment on it. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's not being judged by like an EGA person, definitely, but it is what it is. My second piece I had finished this earlier in the year. This is from Fiddlesticks AU. It was a free design for a little while, but I think it's now available for purchase on Etsy. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Harry Potter inspired. I made this for my oldest daughter for her birthday last year. And this is stitched with DMC and 28 count coffee and tea dye Monaco. The only thing I did differently than charted here is, well, there's going to be another edit there because my computer shut down. All right, so we're back. I didn't really like the way the stripes looked on the scarf, so I just made it all green. And this normally hangs in a room, but you can enter up to 3 items, so I figured, seeing I was driving there, I might as well put a second item in. So I entered this, and this one received a blue ribbon. So now that I have my blue, I don't feel like I need to enter Topsfield again. So I'm glad I entered the last 2 years. That was always on my bucket list to enter, because Topsfield is the fair that I grew up going to and seeing all the cross-stitch designs there. But now that I've entered twice and I've received a blue ribbon, I think that I'm not going to enter that fair again. I would encourage you, though, to enter your local fairs. I did talk to 2 people while I was up there about cross-stitching. One person who had never really knew what cross-stitching was and was interested in starting, and then a second person who used to stitch and was thinking that she might pick it up again. So by putting needlework in the fair, you are encouraging people to stitch. So I would encourage you to do it. I just think I'm going to enter the Big E in another fair that's kind of more local next year. So the next thing that, the thing that occupied me a lot, like I said, the retreat, but I also had 2 stitching get-togethers over the last couple of weeks, which was great. My cross-stitch group, local group that I meet with just about on a weekly basis, we went to Needleworkers Delight in New Jersey to go visit and shop and stitch for the weekend. Sue Hillis was there doing a class, and one of the members of my group was taking one of the classes with Sue. But the rest of us just went along to sit and stitch and shop, chat. And I've got to say, if you live on the East Coast and you've never been to Needleworkers Delight, you need to go. It is a great shop. I am going to insert some photos while I'm chatting, so you can see. They have a bunch of models. They get a lot of trunk shows in. But one of the greatest thing about Needleworkers Delight is they are the Zweigart Mecca of the United States. If it's Zweigart, they have it. And Zweigart is my fabric of choice to stitch with. And they have every color you can imagine, and if they don't have it, they will dye it for you. So I went with a specific list of what I wanted dyed, what I wanted to buy, and I know that cross stitch is making a huge comeback because they were basically out of a lot of 40 count. They had very little 40 count in stock. So I placed my order, and they're going to dye, when it comes in, the fabric's supposed to come in this week, they're going to dye it for me. So I don't have much fabric to show you. That will be coming. But we had a great time sitting and stitching. They have 2 tables, big tables set up at the front of the shop with great light, comfortable chairs for people just to come in and stitch. And they are so gracious and so kind. They feed you when you go. They really just want to make you comfortable, and it was such a great time. Like I said, if you're close, really, you should go. So I had 4 people there who knew who I was, which that was really cool. It was really strange too. I am actually really a quiet person and pretty introverted when I'm not making videos. So I am very talkative with people I know, but not with people I don't know, just because I'm a little bit shy. And I think a lot of us as stitchers are, right? In some ways, it can be a very solitary hobby. So I met 2 people who watch my videos who asked me if I was Gable Stitcher, and yes, I am. So it was Nancy and her friend, who I can't remember her name, but they were lovely, and I sat and chatted with them for quite a bit of time, and we stitched. We were stitching at the same table. And then there were 2 other Flosstubers there who I met. It was Connie from Count Twice, Stitch Once, and it was Kathy from the Dye House, DYE, and they were great. So it was really, really nice to connect with people, and just to be able, it shows you what a small stitching world it is, right? I went to Needleworkers Delight with my local group. I didn't tell anybody I was going because I wasn't convinced that it was actually going to happen, because a lot of times our plans end up changing. Just with 3 kids, sometimes you just can't, things change. And I met 4 people there who knew me, and I knew a couple of them, and we had a great, great time hanging out and stitching. So I did make a few purchases there that I brought home with me. So I bought 1 piece of fabric. This is kind of a nice sand color. It's antique ivory, 32 count. And I don't normally stitch on 32 count, but I bought it because I have had Teresa Wensler's Egyptian sampler sitting with my stuff for a while, and I've been organizing my charts recently, and I keep thinking about this. I kind of want to start it next year. So I needed a piece of fabric for it. So that's the fabric. So this, I believe, is still available. It's one of the old Leisure Arts books. Sue Hillis, as I said, was there for her class, and there was also a Sue Hillis trunk show. So I bought 2 things of Sue Hillis. I love this because this reminds me of the Haunted Mansion in Disney World. So I want to dye some purple fabric, and I think I'm going to do these 1/1 on 28 count. So they would look awesome with the étoile, wouldn't it? Black étoile thread, sparkly thread. What do you think, Julie? Julie's into everything étoile right now, so it would look awesome with that. And then the other Sue Hillis chart I got was this one. And Dina from Half Stitch Cross Stitch was stitching this at StitchCon, and it was really, really pretty. And at least I think it was her. And I saw it at Needleworker's Delight, and I had to have it. So I have a red silk that I might use with this. It's like slightly variegated, so just really pretty. All right, a couple of the patterns. This one I wanted to pick up at Celebrations by Kathy Barrick, and it was out there, so when I saw it, I picked it up. Dear Madam, your tea is exceedingly fine. I had rather drink tea than the finest of wine. So, love that. Love Kathy Barrick. And two more charts. This, my friend had picked up for me. She saw me looking at it. She got it for me for gas money. So thank you, Chris. It is a red sampler. Look like Olga sampler. So, all in French. It's gorgeous. Just gorgeous, gorgeous. And one of the reasons why I want to finish some things is because I really want to start some things like this. And then the last chart I bought, it's a Queenstown sampler. Maria Januara. I should know how to say this because I am Portuguese, and it's a Portugal sampler. But Maria. So this is a big sampler. Have you noticed that, like, I get attracted to these really big things? This is why I have whips for such a long time, because I stitch massive things and you just can't get them done quickly. So this is Maria, is from 1833 to 1834. It's a Portuguese sampler. It is charted by Queenstown Samplers, and the stitch count is 357 by 447. Just a small little sampler. But I love this. I'll hold it up so you can see all the motifs on it. So, really love that. And I have been really called recently to samplers that I have somewhat of a personal connection to. Like I said, I am part Portuguese, so a sampler from Portugal speaks to me. Samplers that are from the area where I grew up or currently live are speaking to me. So I see a lot more samplers in my future. So those are my purchases from Needleworker's Delight. And like I said, I have some fabric coming. So when that comes, I will show you. But yeah, really excited about the fabric. So if I finish lots of things before it comes, I guess I can start a couple of things. I also, this past week, met up with a bunch of Massachusetts stitchers, which is great. I met with Lynette from Homesteading on the Homefront and Abby Bellastitch, as well as 3 other stitchers who are local to the area. 2 I knew, Alan and Debbie I knew, and then a new stitcher who I hadn't met before. And it was great. We met at our local Panera, and we had lunch, and we sat and we stitched together. And Lynette started a group for stitchers in New England to post, group on Facebook to post for get-togethers, because all we did, Lynette had told me, like, let's get together and stitch. And we found a place that was relatively central, and we just got together and stitched. We threw it out there and said, hey, if you're in the area, come and stitch with us. And it was great. And I gotta tell you, the last week of meeting with stitchers at Needleworker's Delight and at Panera, like, it was great. It's so nice to meet with other stitchers, to sit and talk and stitch. And it just really regenerates the love you have for this craft. So, do that. Put a thing out on Facebook or on Instagram, or, put a thing up in your library, like a little note up in your library bulletin board, and say, hey, I'll be stitching here from this time to this time, feel free to come join me. Great way to meet people, because there are, I think, a lot of stitches out there. I am finding, especially when I was at Needleworkers Delight and seeing like how much fabric they are selling and how I'm having a hard time getting some overdyed threads. There are a lot more people stitching now, and it is great. I think the craft is making a comeback, but like, let's find each other and stitch together. So that's it. That's all I have for today. I want to apologize for my hair. I had about 5 people ask me this weekend if my hair was naturally curly. Yes, it is. And as a result, like, some days it just is all over the place. It has a mind of its own, and the weather has been very wacky here in Massachusetts, and my hair just doesn't know if it should be curly or if it should be frizzy or if it should whatever. So it's everywhere. So, yep, and apparently I am too. But that's it. I am going to put some pictures in, and I apologize for the jolts here and there. That will be there for editing. But, you know, have a great stitchy day. Thanks for stopping by to visit. I look forward to visiting with you again soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.